my friend James here from Awaken Therapy, and just wanting to talk with you about this year, what's going on. There's a lot of change happening, there's a lot of pressure happening. Now, I'm no geophysicist, but in my very poor understanding of it, there's a lot of solar flare activity, these CMEs, coronal mass ejections, that come our way, these things that send all these photons, this energy from the sun, which hitting the planet, it affects the magnetic field. You get this solar wind, they call it, all these other things I don't understand, but I do understand that these solar events happening in our solar system certainly impact our thoughts and feelings, and we're feeling the pressure of that. Certainly these events cause things like flooding and earthquakes. There's no coincidence in the connection between these events happening in the solar system and in the sun itself, and how that impacts us here on the planet. So we're going through a lot of that. Now, I'm no astrologer, but good astrologers like Pam Gregory, will explain that these significant events like eclipses and lots of major planets moving from Pisces into Aries, and these conjunctions and all these other things that I'm very amateur in my personal understanding of it. You can go to plenty of experts in that field as well. But they, they all explain that there's very significant events happening in that sense too. And these things are all energy. The planets are energy. They emit certain energies. So just like the energy from the sun and the photons from the sun, also the planetary constellations and configurations and things have an energetic impact on us as well. It's frequency, it's energy, it's vibration. And of course, when you get these big events, some events haven't happened for thousands and thousands of years, maybe 6,000 years or more. Well, that's frying us in certain ways. Other people will explain this from different sources. The writer Sophia Avidni speaks about how this combination of effects is like climbing Mount Everest. These changes in frequency and energy on the planet now, which have been long predicted as part of this ascension process, 3D to 5D shift in consciousness on the planet, as the Earth itself up levels to a new energetic baseline. This has a dramatic impact on all of us on the planet. She likens it to climbing Mount Everest, these changes we're having to keep up with. And so a lot of people are getting sick, a lot of people are getting really ill, a lot of people are actually dying, leaving the planet through different illness. A lot of people are choosing to sort of give up. It's too hard, it's too uncomfortable. And certainly this energy is not just, a toll on our physical and mental body, it's also stirring our shadow. So there's a lot of shadow work required at the moment to sort of keep up with the demand, to keep up with the activation. So whatever angle you want to look at it, and of course you can look at it in terms of ecology, environmental damage and changes in climate and around us. We could look at it politically, geopolitically, all the changes in the political landscapes and wars, ongoing wars on the planet, new ones. Thanks a lot, guys. Whatever angle you want to look at it, we know it's not settled. We know it's not business as usual. And it's hard. Personally, I've been finding it really hard this year. It's been challenging in different ways leading up to this, but this year in particular, I've really noticed this, impact on the body and impact on the mind. And part of me thinks, oh my God, do I want to keep going here? This is really hard work being on the planet. It's not that I want to die. I don't actually believe in death. There is no death. There's the end of the physical form, but there is no death. Our soul just moves into a different state. Our consciousness shifts into a different expression. There is no death. But at times, and I'm not alone in this, Sometimes there can be a longing to go home. There can be a longing to return into soul state, back into the spiritual worlds. Even people without necessarily an understanding of what happens when we leave the body might, we still have it in the back of our mind, this memory of who we are, where we come from. So there can be a strong desire to, get me out of here, let's just go back. But the fact that you're listening to this, the fact that you're here now, you're probably one of the light workers who have chosen to be here now, to experience this, and to help steady the ship, to help anchor in more love and light, to help humanity and the planet actually, because we're the creative go-betweens between spirit and earth, to balance and anchor things in, steadying the ship as we all collectively move into a new expression of the earth. So it's tough to be here now, but please hang in there. The hope I want to impart to you is that you're not alone in this. It's not personal, it's not about you, there's nothing wrong with you. To be having these sort of impacts and what they call ascension symptoms, headaches, ear ringing, sudden fatigue, like bone tired kind of fatigue, and then coming good and it's like it's better than ever, plugging back into spirit, and then a lot of stuff being triggered. I don't know how much shadow work you've done, but it's certainly normal for a lot to be opened up. So with all this going on, it's natural to get a bit maybe overwhelmed, or we get a bit dejected at times. But please pull yourself out of that. Understand that this is a collective thing that we are all going through. As the planet up levels, everyone on it, everything on it, animals and plants and humans and the mineral kingdom, everything, is up leveling as well. So our job is to keep up with that as best we can. Yes, so if we're choosing to remain here, not to kick off, and not to get sick and not to go into despair or depression, but to hang on for the ride, then we look at, okay, what helps me to stabilize? And certainly I've spoken a lot about, unplugging a lot from the external noise, because what's happening is the old is being dismantled. The spiritual worlds are working very hard to build the new, but to build the new we have to clear the old. And so we're very aware of a lot of old institutions and establishments and systems and things are just, they're not working anymore. They're redundant, they're out of date. Maybe they worked in previous times, but these systems do not work now. If we explore that, and I tend to look at that historically a bit too much, and I'm plugging quite a lot from that, but if we look at these systems, it doesn't take long to see how corrupted and greedy and unhealthy, toxic, out of balance these systems have become. One obvious way to look at that is just the distribution of wealth. The vast majority of the planet's wealth now is in the hands of a very small number of people. That's a pretty good sign of things being completely out of whack. So, as we unplug from that, understanding that what we're seeing is really the falling apart of the old, the dismantling of the old, the natural erosion and crumbling away of these old systems and consciousness that just do not work anymore. Now, if we focus on the rear vision mirror in the car, if we're focusing on the rear mirrors and looking at what's going, then, that can be very alarming and very distressing. We're seeing so much of what's falling apart. And there's consequences to that. There's a messiness in that. There is certainly going to be a transition period of adjustment here. But our focus is not on the rear vision mirror and looking at what's old and falling away and lamenting that or getting too afraid or anxious or concerned about that. Sure, in the present, we make some provision, make sure we've got a few cans of food in the cupboard and a bit of drinking water. I think we make a few sensible provisions for that. We don't have to have a 12-month pantry. I think some prepping without going too fear-based about it is just sensible. You know, if the power's out for a few weeks, well, it's good to have some other access to food. But the focus has got to be on the new. As a friend of mine, said the other day, well, we can focus on how bad can it get, or we can focus on how good can it get. And this is the thing to really put our majority energy into. Sure, be aware of what's around us, like driving a car, some awareness of what's behind us or beside us. But mostly we're focused through the windscreen. Mostly we're looking forward. And as a more informed, aware, plugged-in person, you have the huge benefit of understanding the context of these changes. You're not just a rear vision mirror person who can only see the old and what's dying. That's just very distressing. You're a big picture person. And remember, the new is being born out of the rubble. The new consciousness is rising like the phoenix out of the ashes of the old consciousness. The new earth is being birthed out of the old earth. And when we focus on the new, we focus on, how good can it get? What do we want this new earth to be like? What are we sick and tired of in the old? What are we done with? What do we want to flip that into? How are we going to make good on that? How are we going to do it differently this next time round? And this is the exciting thing that's happening. As powerful, creative beings, which is what we are as humans, this bridge between spirit and earth, it's really up to us. Our individual focus, our individual choices on what we want, how we want things to be, what we want more of, what we want to create. Well, the collective is the combined total of all these individual choice points. And there are so many people on the planet now, like you and I, who are actively interested in this, exploring this, working on this, doing our shadow work, clearing away the old, making room for the new, and actively choosing better. It's not about perfect, it's not about ideal, it's just about striving for something better. And that starts with the personal. What will manifest externally, will be the eventual result of the collective. That looks after itself. Our job is personally to choose more and more of what we want, to create more and more of what we want in our personal life, and that all adds up. Like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, that adds up to the new picture. And what that looks like, no one knows yet because it hasn't been formed yet. The range of potential, it will change, that's for sure. There's no going back now. We're in this big process of change. But what it exactly looks like will be determined by our collective efforts, what we do as individuals, the number of people that are actively engaged on focusing on the light and love and better, and the quality of that, the level of that. It's not set in concrete. We are co-creating this right now. So the message of hope I'd give you is that you have an active role to play in this change by choosing peace, by choosing love, by choosing to act out of kindness, to express love and care, to look after self on all levels, to look after others as best you can, to grab those moments as little opportunities to say hello to someone, to join, to connect to others, to make these choices for more love, more light, more peace, more joy, more harmony. Every one of those little choices adds up to, a happier life, a better energetic, and a shining piece of the jigsaw puzzle as best we can. So, let's focus on that together. Let's join in that together. Let's create this better world together.